Welcome all to the course of Data Communication and Networking, BE 7 semester Electronics and Communication. Up to now, we have discussed two units, Introduction of DCN and Unit 2, Physical Layer. Now we go for a data link layer. A data link layer transforms the physical layer, a row transmission facility, to a link responsible for a node-to-node or hop-to-hop communication. A specific responsibility of the data link layer including a framing, addressing, flow control, error control and the media access control. The data link layer divides the stream of bits received from the network layer into the manageable data units called as a frame. The frame can be dealt with a data link layer. The data link layer adds a header to a frame to define the address to the sender and the receiver of the frame. If the rate at which the data are absorbed by the receiver is less than the rate at which the data can be produced in the sender side, the data link layer improves the flow control mechanism to avoid the overwhelming at the receiver. The data link layer also adds reliability to the physical layer by adding a mechanism to detect and retransmit a damaged, duplicate or the lost frames. When two or more devices are connected to the same link, the data link layer protocols are necessary to determine which device has control over the link at any given of time. In this unit, we first discussed the service provided by the data link layer, then we discussed the implementation of these services in the local area network, and last we will discuss and how our wide area networks uses these services. So start with our this topic 1, error detection and correction, part 1. A networks may be able to transfer the data from one devices to the another devices with acceptable accuracy. For most application, a system must generate that and guarantee that the data received is identical to the data transmitted. Anytime the data are transmitted from the one node to the next, they can become corrupted in a passage. Manufacturers can alter one or more bits of the message. Some applications require a mechanism to detecting and correcting an errors, which is very useful in our data communication. So we can say that the data can be corrupted during the transmission, but some applications require that error can be detected and corrected to make our data very correct or accurate at our receiving side. Some application can tolerate a small level of error. For example, a random error in audio or video transmission may be tolerated, but when we transfer a text, we expect a very high level of accuracy. So in the starting, let's introduce a data link layer or error correction and detection. First, discuss some issues related to directly or indirectly to the error detection and correction. The topics discussed in this section is a type of errors, redundancy, detection versus correction, forward error correction versus retransmission, coding techniques and modular arithmetic. So, starting with a type of errors. Whenever a bit flow from one point to the another, they are subjected to unpredictable changes because of interferences. This interference can change the shape of the signal. In a single bit error, a 0 is changed to the 1 and 1 is changed to the 0. In the burst error, multiple bits are changed. For example, 1 out of 100 S bursts of impulse noise on the transmission with the data rate of 1200 bps might change all of or some of the 12 bits of the information. So let's start with a single bit error. A term single bit error means that the only one bit of the given data unit, such as a byte, character or packet, is changed from 0 or 1. Means 1 can be changed to the 0 or 0 can change be to the 1. So we can say that in a single bit error, only one bit in the data unit has changed. Yes, our figure shows the effect of the single bit error in the data unit. To understand impact of the change, imagine that each group of 8 bits in an ASCII character with a 0 bit is added to the left. Fine. Over here a 0 0 0 0 0 0 1 0 ASCII was sent, meaning a start of the text, but 0 0 0 0 1 0 1 0 and ASCII was received, meaning a line feed. A single bit error are a least likely type of the error in the serial data communication. To understand why, imagine that the data at 1 Mbps, this means that each bit is lasts only 1 upon 1000 second or 1 microseconds. For a single bit error to occur, the noise must have a duration is only 1 microsecond, which is very rare. So noise normally lasts much longer than this. So over here you can say that a 1 bit error can change the entire message, but it will be very rare. The probability of the one single bit error will be less or very less. Next, a burst error. The term burst error means that the 2 or more bits in the data have changed from 0 to 1 or 1 to 0. So we can say that a burst error means that 2 or more bits in the data units have changed. Our figure shows the effect of the burst error in the data unit. In this case, a particular data is sent. Over there you just observe that an highlighted numbers is changed, means a corrupted bits are there. So we receive this corrupted bit, means a particular 0 is changed to the 1. Fine. Note that the burst error does not necessarily mean that the error occur in a constructive bits. The length of the burst is measured from the first corrupted bit to the last corrupted bit. Some bits in the between may not have been corrupted, just like this, means it is a first bit, it is a last bit, but not all the bits are changed. Some of the bits are changed. A burst error is more likely to occur in a single bit error than in a single bit error. The duration of the noise is normally longer than the duration of one bit, which means that when a noise affects the data, it affects a set of the bits. A number of bits affected depends on the data rate and duration of the noise. For example, if we are sending a data at 1 kbps, a noise is 1 upon 100 second can affect 10 bits. If we are sending a data rate of 1 Mbps, the same noise can affect 10,000 bits. Fine. So a burst error can be easily understood by this figure. Let's go ahead. Redundancy. A central concept in detecting and correcting error is redundancy. To be able to detect and correct errors, we need to send some extra bits to our data. These redundant bits are added by the sender and removed by the receiver. So there is nothing data in the redundant bit. It just for our accuracy purpose. Their presence allows a receiver to detect and correct corrupted bits. Fine. So we can say that to detect or correct errors, we need and send extra redundant bit with data. So first is detection and correction. Detection versus correction. So in the correction of the error is more difficult than a detection. In the error detection, we are looking only to see if any errors had occurred. The answer is a simple yes or no. We are not even interested in a number of errors. A single bit error is the same as the burst error. Means error will be 1 bit or the maximum bit. There can be error. In the error correction, we need to know the exact number of bits that are corrupted and more importantly their location in the message. The number of the errors and the size of the message are important factors. If we need to correct one single error in an 8-bit data unit, we need to consider the 8 possible error collocations. If we need to correct the 2 errors in the data unit of the same size, we need to consider 28 possibilities. You can imagine that the receiver's difficulty to find then 10 errors in the unit of 1000 bits. So it is very difficult to identify multiple errors for a correction purpose. Second is forward error correction versus retransmission. There are two main methods in the error correction. First is forward error correction, which is the process in which the receiver tries to guess the message by using the redundant miss. This is the possible, as we see later, if the number of errors is small. So we can use a forward error correction. Correction by retransmission is a technique in which the receiver detects an occurrence of the error and asks the sender to resend the message. Resending is repeated until a message arrives that the receiver believes a message is error free, means no error will be detected at the receiving side. So we can differentiate the forward error correction versus retransmission. Now a coding in which a redundancy is achieved through the various coding schemes. A sender adds a redundant bit through a process that creates a relationship between redundant bits and the actual data bits. The receiver checks the relationship between the two sets of bits to detect and correct the errors. A ratio of redundant bit is to the data bit. The robustness of the process are important factors in any of the coding scheme. Our figure shows the general idea of coding. We divide coding scheme into the two broad categories, block coding and convolution coding. We concentrate on the block coding also. The convolution coding is more complex and beyond the scope of our course. So you can see it is a sender and it is a receiver. So the structure of the encoder and decoder is there. In an encoder, a message is generated, message is going through the generator, then message plus redundancy. It is an unreliable transmission in any form. Then received information at the receiving side, decoder detects and checks the error, correct or discard the error bits, then it to the message. So over here we just concentrate over the block codes and we leave the convolution code to the advanced text. Now next is a modular arithmetic. Before we finish this section, let us briefly discuss the concept of the basic to the computer science in general or to error detection and correction in a particular modular arithmetic. Our intent here is not to delve deeply into the mathematics to this topic. We just present enough information to provide a background to a material discussed in this chapter. A modular arithmetic, we use only a limited range of integers. We define upper limit called as a modulus n. We then use only the integers 0 to n minus 1 inclusive. This is modulo n arithmetic. For example, if the modulus is 12, we use only integers 0 to 11 inclusive. An example of modular arithmetic is our clock system. It is based on the modulo 12 arithmetic, substituting the number 12 for 0. In a modulo n system, if a number is greater than n, it is divided by the n and the remainder is the result. If it is negative, as many as n as needed are added to the make it positive. Consider our clock system again. If we start a job at 11 am, then the job takes 5 hours. We can say that the job is to be finished at 16 if we are in a military, or we can say that if we finish 4 pm, as the remainder of 16 by 12 is 4, fine, as you can see. So we can say that in a modulo n arithmetic we use only integers in the range of 0 to n minus 1 inclusive. Means suppose we can take a modulo 3, means 0, 1 and 2, means 3 digits are used. Yes, addition and subtraction in the modulo arithmetic are simple. There is a no carry when you added 2 digits in a column. There is a no carry when you subtract 1 digit from the another column. So let's have an example. XORing of the 2 single bits or 2 words with the modulo 2 arithmetic. In this arithmetic, the values of n is 2. We can use only 0 and 1. Operation in this arithmetic is very simple. The following shows we can add or subtract 2 bits. For take example, 0 plus 0 is equal to 0, 1 plus 1 is equal to 0, or 0 plus 1 is equal to 1, or 1 plus 0 is equal to 1. For subtracting, figure is not shown over here. We can say that 0 minus 0 is equal to 0, 0 minus 1 is equal to 1, 1 minus 0 is equal to 1, or 1 minus 1 is equal to 0. Notice particularly that the addition and the subtraction give the same result. In this arithmetic, we use an XOR operation for the both addition and subtraction. The resultant of the XOR operation is 0 if the 2 bits are same. The result of the 1 if the 2 bits are different. We can see in this figure. If both are same, result is 0. If both are different, then result is 1. Both are same, 0, different, 1, same, 0. Fine? It is easily understandable. Another modulo arithmetic. We also use a modulo n arithmetic throughout this course. The principle is the same. We use numbers between 0 to n minus 1. If modulus is not 2, addition and subtraction are distinct. If we get a negative result, we add enough multiples of n to make it positive. Right? Let's go ahead. Block coding. In a block coding, we divide our message into the blocks. Each of k bits called as a data words. Fine? We add r redundant bits to the each block to make the length of n is equal to k plus r. The resulting n bits block are called as a code words. Over here, we are discussing error detection, error correction, Hamming distance and minimum Hamming distance in this block coding. How an extra r bit is chosen or the calculator is something we will discuss later. For the moment, it is important to know that we have to set a data words each of size k and set of code words each of size n. With n k bits, we can create an combination of 2 raised to k data words. With an n bits, we can create a combination of 2 raised to n code words. Since n is greater than k, the number of possible code words is larger than the number of possible data words. The block coding process is 1-to-1. The same data word is always encoded as the same code word. This means that we have 2 raised to n minus 2 raised to k code words that are not used. We call this code word as a invalid or illegal. Our figure shows the same. So it is a 2 raised to k word data words each for k bits and 2 raised to n code words each of n bits. Over here, this will be higher, this will be lower. So when we subtract this to this means 2 raised to n minus 2 raised to k, there is some invalid or illegal blocks are there. Let's have an example. 4v by 5v block coding discussed in our chapter 4 is good example of this type of coding. This coding scheme n is equal to 4 and n is equal to 5, we saw we have 2 raised to a k is equal to 16 data words and 2 raised to n is equal to 30 code words. We saw that and 16 out of 32 code words are used for the message transfer and the rest are either used for the other purpose or unused. Now error detection. How can errors are detected by using the block coding? If the following two conditions are met, the receiver can detect a change in the original code word. First is a receiver has or can find a list of a valid code words. Second, the original code word has changed to the invalid one. Our figure shows the role of the block coding in the error detection. A sender creates an code words out of the data words by using the generator that applies the rules and produces the encoding. Each code word sent to the receiver may change during the transmission. If the receiver code word is the same as the one is valid code word, the word is accepted. The corresponding data word is extracted for the use. If the received code is not valid, it is discarded. However, if the code word is corrupted during the transmission but the receiver word still matches the valid code word, the error remains undetected. This type of coding can be detect only a single error. Two or more errors may remain undetected. Fine. So this type of mechanism used for only 1 bit error. Let's have an example, and let us assume that k is equal to 2 and n is equal to 3. Our table shows the list of the data words. Later we will see to deliver a code word for the data word. Over here, ठीक a data words and a code words. Assume that the sender encodes the data word to 001 as a 011 and the send it is receiver. Consider the following cases. Yes, you can see a receiver receives a 0111. It is valid code word. The receiver extracts the data word as a 01 from it. The data code word is corrupted during the transmission and 111 is received. The leftmost bit is corrupted and it is a not valid code word and the discarded. Fine. So that is a not a valid code word of 111. Third, a code word is corrupted during the transmission and 000 is received. The right two bits are corrupted and it is a valid code word. The receiver incorrectly extract the data as a 00. The two corrupted bits have made error undetectable. Fine. So we can say that an error detecting code can detect only the type of the errors for which it is designed. Other types of error may remain undetected. So error correction will be required. So let's go for a error correction. As we said before, the error correction is much more difficult than a error detection. In the error detection, a receiver needs to know only that the receiver code word is invalid. In error correction, the receiver needs to find the original code word sent. We can say that we need more redundant bits for the error correction than the error detection. Our figure shows the role of the block coding in the error correction. If we can say that The idea is the same as the error detection, but the checker function are much more complex. Over here, our sender and the receiving have a error correction mechanism. In the data word, it generates the data, then the code word with an n bits, and unreliable transmission corrupts the read, and our code word have a n bits. It will check the correct bits. If it is okay, then it will be data word to the decoder. Let's have an example. Let us add a more redundant bits to the example of our previous semester. If we see the receiver can detect an error without knowing that what is actually sent, we add 3 redundant bits to the 2 bits data word to make a 5-bit code words. Our table shows the data words and code words, assuming that the data word is 1. The sender creates an code words of 01001 or 01011. The code word is corrupted during the transmission, then we receive the 01001. First, receiver finds the received code word is not in the table. This means that an error has occurred. The receiver, assuming that there is only 1 bit corrupted, use the following strategy to guess the error in the corrected data word. So first, comparing a received code word, a first code word is table is 01001 versus 0000. Fine. Over here, the receiver decides that the first code word is a not one that we was sent because there is a 2 different bits. Fine. A 1 bit over here and 1 bit over here. By the same reasoning, the original code word cannot be third or fourth one in the table. Fine. So there is no further code word possible for this reasoning. The original code word must be second one in the table because this is only that differs from the received code word by only 1 bit. Fine. There is only 1 bit change over here. Fine. This replaces only 1 as I told you, and consult the table to find the data word as it 01. Right. So our data word will be 01. Okay, up to now we have discussed type of errors, redundancy, difference between our detection and correction, error correction and error detection. Fine. So these are the questions for you. Write down in your notebook and send back it to me as per the given direction. We will continue our discussion with the same topic. Okay students, see you in the next session.